I believe that the American government is sort of trapped by the Israelis. Jeffrey Epstein is one of their tools to trap them.
And what do you think of Dershowitz's denial?
Hold on a second. I want to give you an example. Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, Ehud Barak met Arafat in the 90s, and there was no deal. The reason was Epstein. They were being blackmailed by Epstein. Ehud Barak was also a friend of Epstein, the prime minister of Israel at the time. But he was being blackmailed by the Israeli right wing as well. And they stopped an agreement with Arafat. They were about to reach an agreement there for a two-state solution, but that was stopped because of Epstein. They were both being blackmailed by Epstein.
And so Jeffrey Epstein, in a way, presumably being used as a tool by the Israelis, helped to change the course of history in this region I'm speaking to you from.
Of course, a change thing. And they trapped a number of U.S. presidents by using Jeffrey Epstein. And it wasn't only about sex, it was also the money issue. Where was the money coming from? But everything is stuck over Gaza. And I believe the Israelis have the American government captive due to what happens with Epstein, or what happened in the past with Epstein. Rupert Murdoch, newspaper, Wall Street Journal, put out that card or something, a birthday card Trump sent to Epstein. Where do you think they got it from? And I don't think Trump wants to continue this war or the genocide. I think it's the Israelis holding him back.
Given how much maverick power he has to create peace in South North Korea, in Palestine, in all these different places, one might ask, why do they need Jeffrey Epstein? Why can't they just assassinate Donald Trump? I know there's a lot of speculation. There has been that John F. Kennedy was assassinated with Israeli intelligence help. Why do they need things like Jeffrey Epstein?
Somebody tried to assassinate him, didn't they? Before the election. It doesn't always work. I'm not sure what's going to happen because, people look at these pictures of starving children all over the world, and there's a lot of pressure on these politicians to say enough, to tell them enough is enough. I'm not sure how far this will go. And I think the Israelis are committing harakiri on themselves, or by doing this, because eventually they will be stopped.
Now, that is where the GCC countries arguably can leverage financial power to replace AIPAC lobbying power, as it were. Do you believe that Trump can begin to leverage some of that Arab world, global South, BRICS world power to be able to end the genocide?
No, I believe that he can end the genocide right now if he just stops being scared of the Israelis. What are they going to say about him? How many girls did he abuse? How many billions of dollars he took? Let them say whatever they say. He should stop the genocide. Let them do whatever they want to do. Morality should take over. I urge him to stop the genocide at any price.
Robert Maxwell was an incredibly intelligent man. He was trying to leverage things against the Israeli state, perhaps financial deals for his company. Look what happened to him. Can't the Israelis every time tell Trump, try and mess with us? Someone as clever, and people can look up Robert Maxwell's heroic wartime record, they can still kill you.
I can't comment about that, but I hope Donald Trump will have the interest of the United States and the Middle East at heart and do the right thing.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society, dictating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
So we have a breaking story over at Dropsite News on Jeffrey Epstein and the role that he played in developing Israel's offensive cyber weapons empire. This is the fifth in the series that we've been doing at Dropsite. If you Google Dropsite News and Epstein in Israel, you'll find the page where we're collecting them all. There's 5 so far. They're all worth the read. There'll be many more to come. This one in particular has the most psychedelic headline of a story that we've done yet, and it talks about the way that Epstein worked with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, with the Swiss bank Edmund de Rothschild, in order to try to finance a cyber weapons empire. Epstein. Everybody says, "What Epstein? What did he really do? How did he really make his money?" Well, we're answering that question piece by piece, and what he was doing here was attempting to create a fund of funds that would collect billions of dollars from warlords, sanctioned creatures, Israeli investors, American investors, Intel-linked firms, and build a cyber weapons empire that they would then sell around the country, and in the process also create security agreements between that country and the state of Israel. That's one of the major things that he was doing. Go read the story. You can learn more about it. Of the 5 pieces, the first one that we did is on a deal that Epstein brokered between the state of Israel and the state of Mongolia. And it was kind of a small story, but we picked that as the first one because it was easy to do, was easy to understand. We had the documents, we had the correspondence, and it was the first case that we could show of Epstein not just operating on behalf of the state of Israeli investors and like former prime ministers, but actually operating on behalf of the state of Israel. We also did a story about how he helped set up a back channel between the state of Israel and Russia during the Syria civil war. One about how he helped broker a security agreement between Israel and Ivory Coast and sold Cote d'Ivoire, basically a surveillance state that the authoritarian president there has used to rewrite the Constitution and kind of crack down on dissent there. So go check these pieces out. I've noticed that they are kind of starting to penetrate the public consciousness. I see them referenced here a lot, and I appreciate everybody who's kind of overcoming the unwillingness of the mainstream media to talk about this situation. Like in about an hour, I'm actually going to be doing an interview with Australia's largest broadcaster, and there are a bunch of other kind of foreign broadcasters that have become really interested in these stories. But so far, the mainstream media in the United States has completely ignored them.
By the end of the 19th century, Palestine has 500,000 inhabitants, of whom 30,000 live in Jerusalem. A veiled woman, a Sunni Muslim, one of the majority, an Orthodox Jew. He too turns away from the camera. Here we have an Armenian Pope. Each of the Christian denominations has its church here in the Holy City. The holy places of the three religions are scattered across a few hundred square meters. The Great Mosque is close to Christ's tomb. Further along, at the foot of the Wailing Wall, a Jew is reciting a prayer. He is wearing a Turkish tabush, and though he prays in Hebrew, his everyday language is Arabic. Jews form half the population of Jerusalem, but in the country as a whole, they make up less than 5% of the total. Christians account for 10% and Muslims 85%. All of them are subjects of the Sultan of Constantinople. There are no frontiers in the Ottoman Empire. There are administrative divisions in which, in this immense territory, Palestine occupies a mere 27,000 square kilometers, made up of 3 small districts in the south of the province of Damascus. The same empire in the 17th century. In the meantime, it has lost the Balkans, France and Italy have seized North Africa. England has moved into Egypt, Aden and even Kuwait.
בפה מלא, אולי אין רעב המוני, אבל יש משבר הומניטרי קשה מאוד בעזה, ובנוסף לדברים האלה, את מביאה בפרסום ראשון ידיעה על סחורה הומניטרית בכמות מאוד מאוד משמעותית.
שמושמדת.
נזרקת לפח.
נזרקת לפח.
מה הסיפור?
נקברת.
נקברת.
בבורות שצה"ל
מה
מייצר.
הסיפור?
קודם כל, העברת המשאיות לרצועה, כמו שאומר לי גורם ביטחוני, היא לא תשובה לרעב. הרעב נובע מהאופן שבו מתבצעת החלוקה, רבים לא זוכים לקבל את אותו סיוע הומניטרי. זה פיגוע אסטרטגי, ערכי ולא פחות מדיני, שהתוצאות שלו ישפיעו על מעמדה של ישראל בעולם, וכבר משפיע שנים רבות.
כך אומר גורם מתוך המערכת. לגבי המשאיות.
1,000 משאיות בחודשיים האחרונים, לפני חודשיים, שהיו מיועדות להגיע לרצועת עזה, ומדובר כמובן בציוד של אלפי טונות של אוכל, ציוד רפואי, ציוד מכל הסוג, שהיה מונח במשך תקופה, והיה מיועד להיכנס לרצועה, הושמד על ידי הצבא בתוך בורות או נשרף, כי הוא פג תוקף, כי הוא לא היה יעיל יותר.
למה הוא לא נכנס לרצועה?
כי לא הכניסו אותו לרצועה.
מי אמור להכניס אותו?
המנגנונים שהם לפי גורמי הביטחון לא פועלים, יש נתק מוחלט, זה לא הוסדר כמו שצריך, הכל בעצם, גם עכשיו, אנחנו היינו אתמול בצד השני של המעברים, ראינו שם אלפי פריטים שאמורים להיות בתוך הרצועה, שהגיעו, מחכים בצד הפלסטיני למסעיות, והם נותרו שם עוד מעט, יקברו, ככה הם קראו לזה, קברנו אותם בתוך בורות, גם שרפו אותם, זה שמן, זה מים, הכל נשרף. גם עכשיו, הציוד הזה שנועד לרצועה הרעבה לא מגיע לשם, ועוד מעט הם גם בעצם ייאלצו לקבור את הציוד הזה